Sam's getting pretty hot. Time to turn Iran into a parking lot. Bomb Iran, bomb, 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 bomb Iran, bomb, bomb Iran. The country's got a feeling, really hit the ceiling. Bomb Iran, bomb, 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 bomb Iran. Call the volunteers, call the bombardiers, call the financiers. Better get their ass in gear. Bomb Iran, bomb, 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 bomb Iran. Bomb, 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 bomb Iran. What country's got a feeling, really hit the ceiling? Bomb Iran, bomb, 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 bomb Iran. Went to a mosque, gonna throw some rocks. Tell the Ayatollah, gonna put you in the box. Bomb Iran, bomb, 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 bomb Iran. Bomb Iran.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drew Grimaldi podcast. We have quite some crazy things going on this morning. Had some technical difficulties there. I don't know what the fuck. We'll see how this goes. Like everything we do, we'll see how it goes. We'll give it the old college try. Thanks so much for tuning in today. As you probably have already heard on the news, the Trump Netanyahu strikes on Iran have begun. They have taken out, it sounds like, the Ayatollah. Now, Iran was killing 30,000 of their own people that were protesting the nasty regime. Now, Iran in the 70s, before the Ayatollah took over, they looked more like the United States than some of the countries, or than some of the Democrat-run cities now in the United States. But that's just a fact of nature. So one of the biggest things that you have with Trump is that he is, whether you like it or not, he is a man of God. And he's going to always act on behalf of what is right. He's always going to do what is right. And I always respect his decisions, and he knows what he's doing. Now, that being said, we are in for some crazy stuff. This one here is craziness. Look at this. This is the Tomahawk missiles heading towards Iran this morning. Check this one out. Faster than hell. To be honest with you, the Ayatollah probably never knew they were coming. We always seem to strike Friday night, early Saturday morning, and regardless of if Trump tells us these people were coming or not, they fuck around and find out on the exact date, because they never see us coming. Our aircraft are too good, they cannot detect us on the way. Now, Iran we need to free the people of Iran, okay? These people have been under this regime forever. Well, this is what we're seeing this morning. As the Ayatollah have been wiped off the map once and for all. Now, we're trying to figure out if Khomeini is actually still alive. But look at this. She's smiling and laughing. She's smiling and laughing because her government just got blown up. Because she doesn't have to wear a fucking mask anymore. So when you hear these liberals out there say, oh my God, they were illegal strikes. Why don't you take your purple-haired freak, get the fuck out of here, and go sit in the corner? Because I don't want to hear a fucking word you have to say. Iran has been a problem forever. We have been needing to take Iran out forever. They are the number one sponsor of state terrorism. They are incompatible with Western civilization. And the Democrats have nothing nice to say about it this morning. But, like anything, there's always a flip side, right? So you have the strikes on Iran. Well, Iran immediately launched another attack on people who were helping the states and also helping Israel in this front. So check this one out. So this is a naval base, the U.S. naval base over in Bahrain. This is one of our biggest ones. This is one. This is the spot that actually controls everything that goes on in the Gulf Pacific. So check this out. This is us getting hit back.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay.
Now, the truth of the matter is, what you just saw there was like a second gen missile. A second gen. Like, in order for those to get through, they just have to send a lot of them, right? But these things are getting through. Dubai, the UAE, had some backhanded. They were working with us behind the scenes, is what I'm trying to say. So Iran preemptively also struck Dubai in the UAE, and they are now helping us as well in this fight. Now, this one right here is in Dubai. One of the missiles got through from Iran, and they bombed a hotel. Check this out. It's crazy. You can see the fire. The building's just burning. You know, I'm praying that any of these tourists are okay. Anybody that's over there right now, we're sending prayers your way. Crazy morning, obviously, with everything going on. Israel is under a constant state of attack. They have alarms going off every 10 minutes. But here's another video of that building getting hit. Compliments Nick Sorter. But look at this. This is what the Iranian people, or the Iranian government, not the people. The people are trying to liberate themselves. But this is what their government's doing. So even to their own people.
I hope no people there.
Me too. I hope there was nobody there. But one of them did it. And you know, these videos, they're just showing fire for people that are listening in and not necessarily watching. But we have another one here, another report coming in. Kuwait, the international airport was also hit by Iran. So we have this one coming in right now this morning. Let's see if we can get this back up. That video has been removed. This is a fluid situation, so we are trying to put this together as it comes in. Let me see if I can find another one for the airport there in Kuwait. So attacks are underway. Here we go. We got it. It's back. Let me get your full screen. Check it out. This is an airport that just got hit by Iran. You can see it's filled with smoke. People are clearing out. The Iranian government, the Ayatollah, are old world ideologues that don't like bacon, right? And these assholes, they fucked around and they found out. Well, this is one of the videos that I was talking about ahead of time, right? So this one here is a video of the Iranian protesters. Now, what happened was the Ayatollah shut off the internet when these protesters were uprising after the strikes on Fordow and the nuclear facilities in Iran a while ago. Now, we have, this is a video of the protesters. Now, these are the people that were just getting slaughtered. We're lucky to even have this video get out of Iran, but this is what they were putting up with that whole time. This is their own government against, like, protesters just getting fucking slaughtered, mowed down on the streets. As a Christian, I cannot stand by and let this happen. We have to free these people. I mean, look at that firepower against protesters. Unarmed protesters. Listen to that firepower. And that's against their own people. These people are fucking ruthless. That's why they need to cut the head off the snake immediately. So, that was expected this morning, but we still have another show put together for you. But we will keep an ear out for anything that comes in on Iran during the show. This one here, I wanted to point out that God, okay, God is the Word, right? It says in the Bible, in the beginning, there was the Word of God, and the Word was good. Well, it's interesting now because we're finding out that frequencies actually can help form structures. So, wonder if that frequency was actually the Word of God. But check this video out because it'll show you how the Word of God, these frequencies, can build beautiful structures just by the frequency. Check this out.
Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. Nice.
Different frequencies build these like beautiful big structures, right? But frequencies have been known to be healing to other things too in the past. Look at these crazy structures that he's making out of this. This is the frequency.
Okay, there we go.
So I bring it up. The Word of God and stardust is what created us. A miracle. A miracle. So Democrats are probably hate this, but Joe Biden, still irrelevant. Nobody gives a shit what he fucking says, but he goes out there and he just says some crazy shit. Here's Joe Biden yesterday claiming that he was the one that closed the border. I mean, I don't know why they even bring this guy around anymore.
Despite everything you read, despite the fact that COVID drove migration to record levels all around the world, the day I left office, border crossing into the United States were lower than the day that I entered that office inherited from Trump. He is, I won't say it.
Notice nobody even clapped or said anything because they knew it was bullshit.
That's just a fact.
Not a
Today
fact.
I left office.
It's not a
I
fact, you
Trump, the strongest
retard.
economy in the world. In the world. That's not hyperbole. That's a fact.
If I was the Democrats, I would pay him not to fucking make public appearances.
Around the world.
He's a retard, and he still is a retard. The man lies like he breathes. He was the worst president that I've ever seen. Now, I wanted to play this one for you, get back into the Iran idea. This one here is Victor Davis Hanson breaking down the situation in Iran. And always, his commentary on the matter is always very telling. It's always very good. He's great. He's a phenomenal mind that on the conservative side.
Is positioning the largest naval and air forces with submarines off the coast of Iran, in the Persian Gulf, in the Mediterranean, in the Red Sea, that we've seen since the invasion of Iraq in 2003. And there are pros and cons about striking Iran. We're not at war with them right now, so this is what we would call either a preventive war, long-term threat, or a preemptive war, that there's a short-term threat that has to be precluded by the use of force. It's very controversial, and we don't know whether he's going to pull the trigger or not. He said help was on the way when the protests were maximized. Anywhere from 10 to 30,000 people, estimates say, were killed. Those protests are now somnolent. We haven't seen much of them, given the mass death and
This
murder
morning, Trump
on
called
this
for them
awful
to rise
regime
up.
of some. It's getting near, as you know, a half century, 46 years. So what are the pros and cons of what we're doing? Does he have to go to Congress to get a declaration of war? No more than the Obama administration had to do when they bombed Libya, for example. But there are pros and cons, and let's go through the pros first. It has been the dream of 8 presidencies, going back to Jimmy Carter all the way to Donald Trump, to have some type of regime change. There's one exception, Barack Obama. He had a harebrained scheme, remember, that he was going to empower Iran. He had the Iran deal. He brought in $400 million at night on pallets to give them money that had been sanctioned. He lifted the sanctions, so did Joe Biden. The idea was to balance off Israel and the Arab countries with a Shia revolutionary country, and then that would produce creative tension, I suppose, that Obama thought he would adjudicate. But other than that, every president has wanted an end to that anti-American regime. They have killed more Americans than any terrorist organization, probably as much as ICE or more than ISIS, given the use of shape charges in Iraq. So that makes sense that you'd want to get rid of it. You would also end this cat and mouse game that we played for 20 years about Iranian nukes. It's a given that anytime they sign a nuclear non-proliferation deal or they give someone their words, it's not going to happen. They can't be trusted. They're a revolutionary, ideologically driven, not rational regime. But it would be very good that they didn't have the ability with their hypersonic missiles or their other ballistic missiles to hit Europe or our allies in the Middle East, or even at some future date us. So you could end that project for good. They're in remission now thanks to our prior bombing missions, but they're not. We haven't ended that threat. It's existential as long as the regime is in. It would be a moral thing. As I said, 10 to 30,000 protesters were murdered. Their bodies were not even given back in some cases to their families, secretly buried. And this regime, as we speak, is hanging people, executing people. It's a rogue regime, and the moral case is strong to help out the protesters. And there might be a chance that Donald Trump could time his attack with a second wave of protests. It would also stabilize. Everybody thinks it's going to destabilize the Middle East. It would probably stabilize the Middle East, and with the source of funding for Hamas, for the Houthis, and for Hezbollah completely cut off, those terrorist organizations may die in the vine, and the Arab countries might feel more secure that they could cut a deal according to the Abraham Accords with Israel. But there is cons. Let's make no mistake about it. When you park 200,000...
Okay, so you can see Victor Davis Hanson really breaks it down why we needed to do this morally and everything. Now, Iranian state news just said after taking out our naval base in the Persian, I believe Persian Gulf, they said that now that is that the radar's gone, that they can now launch a heavier attack. Whether that's true or not, that account's been wrong about a lot of things over the last few days. But like I said, we'll keep you guys posted on what's going on in Iran. Now, Gretchen Whitmer signed off finally in the state of Michigan because she's just such a fucking bad governor. She's terrible. She's awful. She's not insightful. She's not an intellectual. She's kind of an airhead. But she actually took the time, because she knows all that Donald Trump has done for Michigan. She thanked him. Check this one out. This is Gretchen, Big Gretchen, Stretching Gretchen, as they called her in high school.
Business. New factories making batteries, cars, chips are opening in Marshall, Lake Orion, Holland, Bay City, Calumet, Hemlock, Ann Arbor, and Delta Township. A new fighter mission is coming to Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Macomb County. Probably not on the bingo card, but I want to thank President Trump for his work on this. Michigan is open for business. New factories make.
She knows. New factories, new everything. Little nation building here at home. Now, there were some conflicting voices about this whole attack on Iran that I was going to go over before this attack this morning that we kind of knew was coming anyways. Because Trump has a thing where he likes to tell them when exactly we're coming. But our military equipment from Lockheed Martin Skunk Works is so advanced that these assholes have no clue we're even in the area. They don't even know that we just took off. So this is Ben Shapiro saying, let's go to war. Actually not. He says it should
Several
be quick.
issues that are on the
Check
table
it
with
out.
regard to what the Iranian regime must do or should do. One, no nuclear program, not no nuclear weapons, no nuclear program, because, of course, a civilian nuclear program can be converted into a military nuclear program pretty quickly and easily. And the Iranians simply saying we won't build a nuclear weapon is no assurance they won't build a nuclear weapon. That's called the JCPOA, and Barack Obama did it. He also talked there about the ballistic missile development of Iran, but he did not really link that ballistic missile development to concessions that Iran must make. This has been sort of an open divide inside the administration. Some members of the administration are pushing the Iranians. They need to give up their ballistic missile program as well so they can't threaten surrounding countries and allies ranging from Israel to Saudi Arabia and all the way to Europe. Should that be part of the negotiation? There are some people who are saying, no, that shouldn't be part, which of course I think is insane and ridiculous because they can attach not only nuclear weapons, but chemical and biological weapons to warheads that are capable of hitting populated centers in allied nations. And as the president says, are building long-range ICBMs theoretically capable of even hitting American territory. And then there's the question of their treatment of their own population, the murder of 32,000 people in the streets, the support for regional and global terrorism. Are all of those things going to be on the table in the negotiations, or is the United States going to seek an off-ramp by basically cutting an even weaker version of Barack Obama's JCPOA deal? I don't think it's clear from what the president is saying right there which direction he's going to go. According to CNBC, the U.S. and Iran are poised to hold further nuclear talks in Geneva on Thursday. Again, he says that his preference is negotiated endpoint here. The question really, in the end, is going to be whether the president of the United States is too concerned about the possibility of a multi-week air campaign against the Iranians to actually do it. And the Iranians just bluff him. That's really all this is about. No one is talking about a massive ground invasion of Tehran. No one is talking about a long-term occupation of Tehran. Nobody is talking about hundreds of thousands of American boots on the ground in theater. Nobody's talking about that. The question here for the president is, what is the risk reward here for a multi-week air campaign to defenestrate the IRGC and the Ayatollahs and the mullahs in Iran? And then whatever happens, happens. Because I will tell you that everyone else is watching. If the United States backs off of this and cuts some sort of unbelievably weak deal, the consequences will not just be for the Middle East, where Israel will be forced to ramp up its military even more and probably go and attack Iran itself, given Iran's capacity and increasing capacity in both nuclear and ballistic missile development and its renewed attempts to support terrorism. But aside from the Middle East, the Russians are looking on. The president has put a lot of pressure on the Ukrainians and not enough pressure on the Russians. They're probably thinking to themselves, the United States is backing off. They probably renew their offensive in Ukraine, redouble it, triple it. China probably looks at Taiwan and says, why not blockade Taiwan? Who's going to stop us? And the reality is that the United States remains extraordinarily dependent on the microchips that are produced in Taiwan. And if you're China, and if your window of opportunity is closing, which it is demographically, the Chinese have a massive demographic problem, they have a major debt problem. If your window of opportunity is closing, you're being outcompeted, particularly in the AI industry, then why not make a move on Taiwan if you no longer fear the big red button that President Trump holds? Right? These are the consequences of foreign policy. We'll have to see how it plays out.
And that was Ben Shapiro. Now, here is Carl Higbie of Newsmax breaking down all of our military capacities. He was an ex-Navy SEAL. This is his take.
The downside of this is that sometimes you got to make missed parking lots and bomb people back to the Stone Age, which in Iran's case, I'm actually completely fine with and encourage it. Look, having been to war, I am generally against war, which is one of the many reasons I voted for Trump 3 times. But you know what? I'm on board with whatever Trump's about to do with Iran. First off, Iran should just be happy I'm not in charge, because I would bomb them just out of revenge, given my intimate experience fighting with them. And this should kind of give you some insight into why I personally still think that it's a good idea to turn Tehran into a 6-foot-thick sheet of glass. But in 2007, my team's primary mission in Iraq, which borders Iran, was in fact to counter Iranian influence, because 99% of the munitions, guns, bombs, hardware, tech, training, IEDs were either supplied by, paid for by, or built by Iran. 2 of those IEDs killed 4 of my friends. 3 were standing right next to me. I was shot in the back by a PKM supplied by Iran, fired from an Iranian-trained militia member of the Jaish al-Mahdi, a.k.a. the Jam militia, during the summer offensive in Baghdad. The Iranian regime took Navy hostages, put them on their knees, and blasted the pictures for the world to see in 2016. So, needless to say, I hate the Iranian regime. And yes, I voted to not start any new wars, but we could finish one. These are our bases around Iran. Okay? There's a lot of them, safe to say. We can put a fighter jet, or 200, over Tehran in less than 20 minutes. Most of those bases, they won't even know that they launched. They won't even know because they can't be detected by radar because our fighter jets are awesome. You don't believe me? I'm sure we can get the Iranian officials on the phone with Mr. Maduro. I don't know. But we have not 1, but 2 carrier battle groups in the region, each carrying more planes than all of Iran's Air Force, with destroyers that are currently picking which window in which building they want to send a missile through, built on target packages of our CIA that's been on the ground collecting intel that we've infiltrated their country dating back to Iran-Contra. We have frigates with more resources than all the grocery stores and gas stations in Tehran. We have submarines that these people have no idea where they are, each carrying up to 8 independently launchable nuclear warheads, of which 1 would make Tehran look a lot like Gaza. 3 out of the 4 of our branches of our military are the 3 largest air forces in the world, and we just move half of it into Iran's backyard. Iran's leadership is a bunch of antique religious ideologues that don't like bacon, that think they're protected by Allah. I say we test that protection. My only request, respectfully, Mr. President, if you do this, you do it to the max. No more one-offs. Hit them so hard they don't have a military. They don't have an infrastructure or even a clue when you're done. And then talk smack like you did after we hit Baghdadi.
He died like a dog. He died like a coward. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States. I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul.
So what do you say? Who's down to black out the sky with some jets and make it rain glass in the desert, huh?
100%, baby. That was Carl Higbie of Newsmax breaking it all down. Now, the counter argument. This man argues the opposite. He says this is the worst idea ever. Now,
bullshit with Iran has just turned into a Mexican standoff. 2 days ago, Chinese warships and Russian warships sailed up to the mouth of the Straits of Hormuz. The Straits of Hormuz are essentially the hot gates. They're Thermopylae, right? The 300. You fight in a narrow corridor and it makes your numbers count for jack shit. China's brought hypersonic missiles to the dance, and they gave some to fucking Iran. The U.S. military has zero defense for hypersonic missiles. If Iran fires one, the U.S. military will have 45 seconds to respond to that shit. That's not enough time for fuck all and nothing. The art of war. You do not fight when there is nothing to gain, and the U.S. has absolutely nothing to gain here. No one can even articulate why the U.S. would need to fucking do this shit other than Israel's blackmailing our government and forcing them to do it. Trump is standing strong, and he better fucking hold on to this shit, because popping shit off with Iran would shut down the Straits of Hormuz. If the Straits of Hormuz shut down, that cuts off 27% of the world's oil supply, which is 25% of China's oil, which would fucking deal a massive blow to China's economy. And so they're not willing to fucking take that risk. That's why China has sent their top-class destroyers with hypersonic missiles, and they're sitting right there. Everybody's hanging out right there now. So now U.S. has to take into account, like, hey, if we pop this off, we're probably going to have to deal with not only China, but Russia as well. This is not just some fucking localized, like, oh, I'm going to strike them and it'll be good. And nope. There is nothing to fucking win here. To the idiots that say, oh, we're energy independent, we don't need that oil. Oil is $65 a barrel right now, and if the Straits of Hormuz close down, JP Morgan has said the price of oil will go to $130 a barrel. Gas prices will double, if not triple, and it will be an absolute shit show for the United States. They said if it continues for 6 months, you could see 2% inflation because of it, because of the petrodollar. America has no fucking beef with Iran, and there is nothing in this for us other than pain and fucking misery. Trump, give Israel the finger and fucking stand firm on America first. Like, there's actual hope because he hasn't struck them yet. Massey and Ro Khanna's war authorization bill could be Trump's off-ramp. If they said they are going to push this bill that would demand that Congress gets a vote before initiating any bullshit with Iran, that would fucking give Trump that off-ramp, and he can just be like, well, it's out of my power, Congress is taking it away. Otherwise, I don't even know. This is the dumbest shit I have seen to fucking date with Trump, and the whole year has been a fucking disappointment. Like this.
I completely disagree with his assessment, but some of the things that he was saying is true. They do have hypersonic missiles, which, if fired, we only have 45 seconds to fucking figure out what to do. Not enough time. Now, this is Tucker Carlson making his argument. Now, there has been a lot of criticism against the Israeli government. The Israeli government was our best friend in the region during and right after 9/11. They were our best friends. Now, there's conspiracy theories out there. We need to take a step back, especially as conservatives. But this here is Tucker Carlson saying why we should not be doing this Iran thing. He has caught a lot of slack for it. He's been called an anti-Semite.
Closer and closer to the time where this war could actually start, Levin has decided to just make stuff up. And the clip you're about to hear is from his podcast, I believe, and you can check it 2 days ago. And it is grounds for dismissal from Fox News, immediate grounds for dismissal. And it's also, at the very least, grounds for like questions to him, like, what are you doing? What are you doing saying something like this? This is Mark Levin telling his listeners, such as they are, that Iran has nuclear-tipped ICBMs aimed at the United States. Watch this.
They'd slaughter 1 million of their own people if it meant retaining power. That's not a government of a country. Those are terrorists that control a country. It is a police state that's slaughtering its own people to stay in power so it can slaughter us. It believes, as the 7th century primitive barbarians believed, that they must destroy civilization. They believe today that they must destroy the West. Most prominently, the United States of America. Those nuclear ICBMs aren't aimed for Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. They're aimed for New York and Los Angeles and Chicago and everywhere in between and around the United States of America.
The enemies of civilization. If you wake up in a world where Mark Levin is publicly identified with, quote, civilization, you are an upside-down world. Civilization begins with the acknowledgement that human life is sacred, that God created each person as an individual, that identity politics is therefore wrong, and that telling the truth matters because truth is absolute. You may get it wrong, but the idea that nothing is true is a form of nihilism, and that attitude is the enemy of civilization. And yet that's exactly what you just saw. Iran does not have nuclear-tipped ICBMs. And they're not aimed at the United States. That is a lie. It is a provable lie. Now, why is he saying that? Not because he hopes to win an argument, but because he hopes to whip his listeners into such a frenzy of fear and rage that they will support something that will hurt them. This will hurt the United States almost without question if it happens. This is not good for you. It's not good for our actual allies, the energy-producing countries in the Middle East, which are our actual allies. Israel is in no sense our ally in this. And yet, Mark Levin will not, and none of these people will address that debate. Instead, they're just lying to scare people into supporting something that will hurt them.
And that's the Tucker Carlson end of it. You know, and I do agree on some things that he said. All life is precious. I mean, killing of innocents is always awful. But he leaves out the fact that they've killed 30,000 of their own people just for trying to protest what the government is doing to women and everything. Like we talked about in the beginning, since the 70s. These oppressive Ayatollah, Islamic, Muslim, fucking brotherhood people have been just oppressing society, women, treating them like second-class citizens. They fucking hate dogs. And that should tell you something. But on the contrary, you got other war hawks, the neocons. And I'm not saying anything about this, but this has been played around a lot, and there is something to be said about it. Bibi Netanyahu has been saying the same thing for about
the Soviet Union and
30
its
years.
Proxy, the PLO, international terrorism collapse. If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. Obviously, we'd like to see a regime change, at least I would, in Iran, just as I would like to see in Iraq. The question now is a practical question. What is the best place to proceed? It's not a question of whether Iraq's regime should be taken out, but when should it be taken out? It's not a question of whether you'd like to see a regime change in Iran, but how do it...
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The answer is categorically yes. The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran. But a third nation, by the way, is Libya as well. Libya is trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb capability. So you have here now three nations.
All stand together to stop Iran's march of conquest, subjugation, and terror. I know that no matter on which side of the aisle you sit, you stand with Israel.
Wow. So while we were listening to that, Iran hit the largest building in Dubai. We have this. Let me pull it up. Crazy morning. Like I said, crazy morning. Here's our video. Check this one out. This is...
Sí, sí, van. Sí, ahí pegó. Uy, chico, ahora sí se puso. ¿Qué pegó? Le tiraron. No. ¿A qué le pegó? Bueno, muchachos. ¿A qué le pegó? Al Bucari. Me está jodiendo, boludo. Mirá la grúa, boludo. ¿Se mueve la grúa? No. ¿La grúa que está en el edificio? No veo nada yo. ¿A dónde está el avioncito, boludo? Ya se fue. Ahí está. Bajó, ahí se vio. Mirá el humo. ¿A dónde?
They hit it at the base, it looks like.
Qué locura, amigo. No, mamá. ¿Algún Khalifa?
Sí.
¿Llegaste, Nero? Sí, van.
Well, that was it. That was the impact. So that is going on. That is the update that we have for you at this time. So moving on to something else here. The Epstein has been a crazy, crazy, crazy thing that has been out and about. This one here is Epstein literally saying that Bill Clinton's policies were the reason that we had the 2008 housing market collapse. Let's check this out.
You asked me what and who caused the financial crisis, I would tell you it was Bill Clinton.
Because of what Bob Rubin and he did to the deregulate the financial system?
No. Because as the last time we had our 60-minute interview, you talked to me about home ownership. And you asked me whether everyone should own a home. And I told you no, it's too risky.
So the financial collapse of 2008 is because of hardworking African Americans, Hispanics, and whites who wanted to have a ownership stake in the society that all rests on their shoulders. They're the culprits.
No, not at all.
Okay, then
I didn't say they were the culprits.
The guy speaking in the background is Steve Bannon too. It was part of Trump 1.0.
Why was it Bill Clinton?
Sold out everybody.
Because Bill Clinton wanted to get votes from those people. And he sold them the idea that instead of renting in a house, and historically the values of houses have gone up, and he said, you guys in these local communities who haven't been able to afford a house before, I'm going to show you a way. I'm going to give you a way, because I'm sure I'll get your vote, that you can own a house, because I want your vote. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let you buy a house, Mr. Bannon, when you really, you're right on the border, maybe, or not even on the border. Your credit is not good. Okay, let's be honest. And it's not my fault, it's not Bill Clinton's fault, but if whatever happens, at the moment your credit score or whatever it is, your credit's not good. Now, normally, you come to me and want to borrow money, I'm a bank, and I say, I'm sorry, Mr. Bannon, I can't lend you money because your credit score is not up to where it needs to be. Hopefully, if you work harder and clean up some of your problems, it will be. But no, what I say to you is, I'm going to figure out a way to lend you, not give you. I'm going to lend you money anyway, though you don't have a good credit score. And don't worry, I'm going to get rid of the term that you don't have bad credit. Bad credit sounds pejorative. You don't want to be a person.
Sounds judgmental.
Yes, sounds judgmental. So what we're going to do is we're going to call your credit situation subprime. Oh, nobody knows what that means. Subprime. That means prime is good credit. Subprime is not good credit. Less than good credit. So we'll call it something that people really won't follow. And we'll tell you what. We're going to have people lend you money, though you are a subprime borrower. And
heard enough of this guy, dude. So, point is, Bill Clinton basically said, we're going to start lending to shit buyers, people who can't afford it, people with bad credit. Well, then you had like the Lehman Brothers and all these companies that started underwriting to these lax standards, and all these portfolios all over the country were based on these high-risk, subprime loans that were never going to fucking get paid back in the first place. So, there's that. Now, there's new video footage that has emerged of Ghislaine Maxwell, but before we get there, we have some updates for you. Iranians are dancing in the streets for freedom. Check this one out as the government continues. Notice they're waving American flags, British flags, all the above. Why? Because we just fucking liberated them. Enjoy your newfound freedom. Congratulations. Now, that comes at a risk, obviously. While we were talking about Epstein, things came in. More missile strikes on U.S. bases in Bahrain. Here is that. There's nobody there. We cleared it out a few days ago. But you got that going on. So, like I said, as these updates of what is going on come in, we will keep you posted. So, Ghislaine Maxwell was getting asked questions. This is while she was getting questioned by authorities about the Epstein and about the girls that she brought in. Just listen to some of her answers.
Can you list for me all the girls that you have met and brought to Jeffrey Epstein's house that were under the age of 18?
Check the Foreman Foundation.
I could only recall my family members that were there, and I could not make a list of anyone else because that never happened. But I can take off.
I'm talking about during the time that you were working for Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
Can you list all the girls that you found for Jeffrey Epstein that were under the age of 18 to come work for him in any capacity?
Check the Foreman Foundation.
So I didn't find girls. I didn't look for them.
You choose the word.
No, you don't choose the word. If you have a question, ask it.
List all of the girls that you met and brought to Jeffrey Epstein's home for the purposes of employment that were under the age of 18.
Check the Foreman Foundation.
I've already characterized what my job was, which was to find people, adults, professional people, to do the types of jobs that I listed before. Pool person, secretary, house person, chef, pilot,
But I'm talking about individuals under the age of 18, not adult persons, individuals under the age of 18.
I only looked for people, tried to find people to fill professional jobs in professional situations.
Under the age of 18, correct?
I think we've established was 17 and masseuse.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Is she the only individual that you met for purposes of hiring someone for Jeffrey that was under the age of 18?
Check the Foreman Foundation. That mischaracterizes your testimony.
So I didn't hire people. I met people.
Use the word hire.
Yes, you did.
I said met.
Yes. So I interviewed people for jobs that were professional people for professional things, and I'm not aware of anyone aside from who clearly was a masseuse aged 17, but that's, at least that's how far we know that I can think of that fulfilled any professional capacity for Jeffrey.
List all the people under the age of 18 that you interacted with at any of Jeffrey's properties.
I'm not aware of anybody that I interacted with, other than I was 17 at this point. I had not any idea exactly of the youngest adult employee that I hired for Jeffrey.
When you say adult employee, did you ever hire someone that was under the age of 18?
Never.
Did you ever bring someone who was under, or invite someone who was under the age of 18 to his home, any of his homes?
Subject to the Foreman Foundation.
You can answer.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Did you ever invite anybody under the age of 18 to Jeffrey's homes?
Same objection.
I have a number of friends that have children, and friends of mine who have kids, and in the invitation of my friends and their kids, I'm sure that I will have invited some of my friends' kids to come, if that's what you're referring to.
No, anybody that is not a friend of yours, any female under the age of 18, did you invite them to come to Jeffrey's home?
Check the Foreman Foundation.
Again, as I said, I'm not aware of having invited anybody other than friends of mine who have children to the house.
Now we know that's not true.
To come to Jeffrey Epstein's home when she was under the age of 18.
Ms. Metzl, when did you...
Check the Foreman Foundation.
You can answer.
I have no idea when I met her.
Do you know how old she was when you met her?
I have no idea how old she was when I met her.
Is it possible that she was 13 years old when you first met her?
Check the Foreman Foundation.
First of all, the mother was Jeffrey's friend, and his mother was Jeffrey's friend, so may have been in the house. When she was in the house, I have no idea how old she was. She was with her mother.
I understand that she was with her mother. I'm asking you, if she was 13 years old when you first met her.
I have no idea how old she was when...
Was she under 18 when you first met her?
I have no idea how old she was when she was in the house.
Who were the other 17-year-old masseuses they were aware of?
I'm not aware of any.
Were there any 16-year-old masseuses you were aware of?
I'm not aware.
Any 15?
Look, I just want to be clear. The only person that I'm aware of who claims to have been, we have to, whilst I've established that now at 17, given that she had changed her age so many times, the only person that I'm aware of that was a masseuse at the time when I was present in the house.
All right, so that's all that we have for Ghislaine Maxwell today and the Epstein stuff. So, just in, while that was playing, it turns out Iran has moved to close the Strait of Hormuz while ships are reportedly receiving VHF transmission from Iran's Revolutionary Guards, warning no ship is allowed to pass the Strait of Hormuz. This is breaking. This is not good in terms of what we're talking about. So we're going to keep everything moving here for you. It looks like Iran has just, it turns out, Fox News is breaking that the Iranian Ayatollah leader is still alive.
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's
breaking.
compound, which can be seen in satellite photos as mere rubble. It's not clear whether the Ayatollah was there. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi spoke to NBC moments ago and was asked to confirm whether the Ayatollah and the Iranian president are still alive.
As far as I know, yes, they are alive. And the head of judiciary as well, the head of the Speaker of Parliament as well, all high-ranking officials are alive. And the secretary of the National Security Council. So everybody is now in its position, and we are handling this situation, and everything is fine.
There were hundreds of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's compound.
So we are also just finding out that it appears that the Iran is still shooting buildings and high-rises in Bahrain. This is a pretty crazy video. I haven't seen anything like it since like 9/11. Pretty crazy shit going on this morning. I hope nobody was in that building. That's some crazy, crazy stuff. But there's even more coming in right now. Things are coming in hot, coming in fast. Tel Aviv is getting lit up right now in Israel. But the Iron Dome so far is stopping those. Ladies and gentlemen, check this one out. Look at all those fucking missiles. I wouldn't want to be in that fucking building. So, we are in a very crazy place this morning. Check this one out, though. Those are missiles over Tel Aviv that are getting shot down by the Iron Dome. So we will keep these coming in as we get them. So it turns out that this is how Epstein actually made his money. He'd blackmail people in
about it,
markets.
Mark. This is a seismic moment, not only for Peter Mandelson, but for British politics as a whole. 6 months ago, the man that you can see in the pictures was the British ambassador to Washington. One of the maybe half dozen most powerful figures in this country, personally appointed by Keir Starmer, against elements even of his own better judgment, persuaded of it, we believe, by his then Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, because he was thought to be the only man who could bridge the divide with Donald Trump's White House after the US president returned to the White House for the second time. Peter Mandelson believed to be the only person who could help Britain and sort out its trading and relationship with the US at this tricky time. Today, being taken away, as you can see, by police. Peter Mandelson has denied any wrongdoing, but I suspect there will be a lot of focus on those emails that we heard so much about, emails from the last time Gordon Brown was in the British government, when Peter Mandelson was in the British government, when Gordon Brown was Prime Minister. Peter Mandelson, then Business Secretary, alleged to have forwarded emails, that's what the Epstein emails suggested, forwarded emails to Jeffrey Epstein, potentially containing confidential government material. The allegation that tipped off Jeffrey Epstein about an impending EU bailout, and that he notified the financier about the activities of the British government and gave advice to big US bankers to mildly threaten the then UK Chancellor, the late Alistair Darling. All of those things likely to come under scrutiny. Peter Mandelson, not a figure shy of controversy, forced to resign from the British government twice when Tony Blair was Prime Minister, once over a home loan scandal, once over his relationship with the Hinduja brothers. But this challenge facing Lord Mandelson is now of a different order, with the police now, Metropolitan Police now arresting him. It will go, I think the political ramifications of this will go to the very heart of Downing Street, because once again the focus will be on Keir Starmer's decision to appoint somebody with a track record as checkered as Peter Mandelson's politically, with those two resignations, in knowledge that there was a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein that went after his conviction for relations with minors back in 2009, a relationship that possibly involved taking hospitality from Jeffrey Epstein in the early 2010s. All of that was known to Keir Starmer at the moment that he appointed him the British ambassador to Washington. The question that Labour MPs will and are asking is why take such a risk? Is it really the case that Peter Mandelson was the only person who could solve the conundrum of the UK relationship with Washington, particularly given that there was a talented incumbent in Karen Pierce already occupying that office, but she ended up being hurried out of the British residency in Washington to make way for Peter Mandelson, because he was seen by Keir Starmer and his then Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, as the only answer to the political question that Donald Trump's second presidency posed. And yet that has turned out to look like a political misjudgment by the Prime Minister, who will now, like the rest of us, be watching these pictures. No mistake about it, Mark.
So Epstein's files are starting to bring down governments, and that's just how it is. Now, we won. I shouldn't say we won. USA, the boys and the girls, they went out there and they won the gold at the Olympics. Well, the Canadians are pretty pissed off about that W. Check out this Canadian bitching about it. It's kind of funny.
More than anything, all of the Americans who know nothing about hockey now thinking that their nation is a superior hockey nation because they beat us in one game. We're still better than you guys. We still love the game more than you guys. To the Americans who are in the hockey community, congrats. Savor the moment. You guys have been knocking on the door a long time. We finally let you in with a little bit of help from the refs. But let's get serious here. Anybody with a handful of hockey cells in their brain watching that game knows that the better team did not win today. And that's just sports. Sometimes that happens. Ask the 2025 Blue Jays in the World Series. You know what pisses me off more than anything?
Let's be honest. Their hockey team was basically their military. It's a bunch of dudes with hockey sticks. If it wasn't for the United States, they wouldn't even be a country. But I continue on. James Carville, the great James Carville, who's considered great on the Democrat Party, he has some things to say about Donald Trump. And I don't think any of them are true, but he sounds absolutely insane. And this is exactly what the Democrat Party is. Fucking insanity. Just, they need help. They need help.
Personal message for Donald John Trump. And you sit still, you son of a bitch, when I'm telling you this. I'm going to tell you right where you are, you fat, sorry sack of shit. People hate you. Now, let me give you, and I'm not just saying this because I don't like you. I'm saying this because I'm telling you what's happening to you right now. And get ready to tell you what's going on. First of all, everybody is stabbing you in the back. You can trust no one. I saw the story today where, of course, the Pentagon, because your boy Pete, he can't control shit, okay? Was already back leaking that General Kane told you about all the dangers in bombing Iran. Because why are they doing that? Because they hate you. And they're going to leak, and they're going to talk to the New York Times, and they're going to talk to everybody else, just like your own staff, right? Susie Wiles, she hates you. That's evident. Sherry already told you that. They're all leaking like crazy. They're all wondering what's going to happen in the next job. They don't give a shit about you, okay? They really don't. No, you can't trust anyone. Trust no one. What? Okay, maybe Stephen Miller. Okay, I'll give you that one. Now, the Congress, they can't stand you. They're not going to pass shit for you. They're not going to do anything for you. They hate you. They know that you're bringing them down to a staggering defeat. Don't trust any of them. I wouldn't, even the ones you could trust couldn't do shit anyway. Like Mike Johnson, you don't know whether to whine his ass or scratch his watch. Supreme Court, well, they left the fucking house. I mean, they got their corporate masters to deal with. You're not part of the fucking equation. They don't care about you anymore. They use you. You appointed them. They fuck you. Great. That's just where you are. You know, sit still, Trump. I'll tell you to sit still when I'm talking to you, son of a bitch.
Fucking lunatic.
Okay? When you're a loser, you lose.
Who's the loser?
Man, you are a loser, a big-time loser. I don't want to talk to you about the polling, but if somebody texts me one more goddamn poll about Trump being at an all-time low, or I'm listening to some quant go on some chart on some cable network talking about we've never seen anything like this. This is the Mariana Trench. Well, I don't know what the fuck it is. All right. You are the most unpopular president at this point in your term that we've ever had. They don't like you. You understand that? They don't like you. They don't like the way you smell and like.
This guy is such a weirdo. So the thing is that you have kind of a schism right now in the party over Iran that has led to Trump's polling looking a little dismal right now. But they're unhinged. They're absolutely unhinged. This is a liberal hating on the U.S. hockey team for taking the Trump call. Like, imagine that you're a medalist and people are shitting on you for taking a call from the president.
Do you know why women don't trust men Olympic hockey players? Because we know that you will act right in public, but behind the scenes, you'll do shit like this.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay?
It's so funny, isn't it? It's so funny to be on the phone with a guy who's been accused of pedophilia, rape. He's
Trump's never been accused
corrupt,
of pedophilia.
Robbing his country blind, imprisoning little children, drink another.
They're deporting them with
beer.
their family.
You guys are the reason
Psycho.
that women don't trust men. Because you say that you love women.
That's why you're fucking single.
Women, but then as soon as you think you're alone with a man who is legitimately, arguably the biggest misogynist ever to walk the earth.
Wow.
A man who has hurt
That's a big word
more
for
women
someone like you.
than you have probably met in your life. Oh, it's all laughter. God, do I feel sorry for your sisters, your daughters, your wives, your mothers. It would have taken one of you to speak up. Not one of you had an ounce of courage in that moment. Go to the White House. Have a good time. I hope the women's team will have the good sense to turn down the invitation. We know who you are now. You are the reason we don't trust men. You could have done something good there, guys.
They're always crazy
and you
eyes.
Didn't. So you might have
always
won
the
your
liberals.
Olympic medals.
I bet she's got
But you
fucking
lost
6
American
cats.
women. Hope it was worth it.
What a loser. Like, that's the type of shit. That's the type of mentality that absolutely ruins the Democrats' just mind. I don't get it. I will never understand it. They're trash. But continuing on, this is fucking hilarious. So when we were talking about Iran and all that stuff, Trump calls in and uses a pseudonym to call the press, and it's funny because nobody realized it was him at the time. Check this out. This is hilarious.
John in Virginia, Republican. Let's hear from you.
Well, this is John Barron, and this is the worst decision you've ever had in your life, practically.
This is when the Supreme Court shot down the tariffs.
Right? But this is a terrible decision, and you have Hakeem Jeffries, he's a dope, and you have Chuck Schumer, who can't cook a cheeseburger. Of course these people are happy. But true Americans will not be happy. And you have the woman earlier, I assume she's a woman, she's a Democrat, but she said she's disgraced. She's devastated.
All right, John. This. We'll go to Chester, who's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Democratic caller.
So what do you think? You think that was Trump? I think it was. Because that was an old pseudonym that he used to use when he used to talk to the press and give them information. So kind of funny. But, it's just been a pretty crazy week. Gavin Newsom ended his political career by making one of the stupidest gaffes, telling black people, hey, I'm just as stupid as you are. And that's the thing about the Democrat Party, is that they have a way of the soft racism of low expectations, okay? And that's what they are. They expect everybody. Democrats think black people are too stupid to get an ID to vote. They think they're, all of these things. When they're not. There are African Americans that are a lot more smart than I am. I'll fucking tell you that right now. I know. I've met them. But this is Gavin Newsom telling black people, I'm just as dumb as you guys. Check this out. This one's wild.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in. I'm not trying to impress you.
He's not trying to impress you. He just wants you to know he's just as dumb as you guys are. Crazy. Yeah, the audacity that the Democrats have to say this kind of shit. But that is all the time that we have today. I appreciate everybody coming out and listening. I'll be texting and shooting over on social media all the updates that I have and I get on Iran and everything going on there. Thanks for tuning in this week. We will be back next week doing the same show. I'm going to start doing a little bit of a Wednesday show. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks so much for watching. God bless the United States of America. God bless our troops. And God bless all of you. Hopefully everything turns out perfectly and we get rid of the Ayatollah. And this is a quick decapitation and the Iranian people will be free. And from my mouth to God's ears, let's pray that happens. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope it was informative and I hope you had some fun. So thanks so much for watching.